You hear the word discipline all the time, right? But what if I told you that almost everything we think we know about it is just flat out wrong? In this explainer, we're going to tear that all down and get to the heart of what real discipline actually is. And trust me, it's the one thing that can change everything. So let's just get right to it with a question I bet you've thought about a million times. You ever look around and see people who just seem to have it all together? They're in control, they're hitting their goals, they're writing their own story. And then there's the rest of us, right? Feeling kind of stuck, maybe even adrift, no matter how much effort we put in. What is the difference? Well, the answer isn't some complicated, hidden secret. It's actually incredibly simple. It all boils down to just one single word. And that word is discipline. But here's the thing. Our modern world has twisted the meaning of discipline into something it's not. So let's peel back all those layers of misunderstanding and find out what it really is. Okay, first things first. We absolutely have to tackle this huge misconception that holds pretty much everyone back. So we're all told to find our motivation, right? You watch that pump-up video, you get that jolt of energy, and you feel like you can run through a brick wall. But what happens an hour later or the next morning? Poof, it's gone. That's because motivation is like a spark. It's fleeting. Discipline, on the other hand, that's the steady flame. It's not some emotion you have to wait around for. It's a system, something you actually build. I love this analogy. Think of it like this. Discipline is the steel frame of a skyscraper. You can't see it from the outside, but without it, the whole beautiful building comes crashing down. It's not about the fancy windows or the paint job, the little habits you see on the surface. It's the unseen internal structure that holds everything else up. And where do you build that steel frame? Well, it's built in one place and one place only, on the battlefield inside your own mind. Seriously, think about it. Every single minute of every single day, there is a full-on war being fought inside you. On one side, you've got your best self. That's the part of you that wants to learn, to grow, to achieve big things. And on the other side, you've got your weaker self, and all it wants is comfort, ease, the easy way out, right now. Oh, and that weaker self? It is a master of persuasion. It whispers all those sweet, perfectly reasonable excuses in your ear, doesn't it? I'm just too tired today. You know what? I'll start fresh on Monday. Come on, one day off isn't going to hurt anyone. The second you start listening to that voice, the battle's over. You've lost. And here's the really tough part to swallow. This is not a fair fight, not even close. See, our brains are literally hardwired for the easy path. It's a very old survival mechanism designed to save energy. And that gives your weaker self this massive, massive home field advantage. It's exactly why scrolling on your phone feels so much easier than reading a book. So what is discipline? It's the conscious act of fighting against your own biology. It's choosing to override that default setting. And this all leads us to a really interesting and kind of crucial paradox about what it really means to be free. Here it is, one of the most dangerous illusions of our time, is the idea that freedom means doing whatever you feel like doing. But just think about that for a second. Is the person who can't stop scrolling, who's totally controlled by their impulses and the social media algorithms, are they really free? No way. They're a slave to those things. They've handed over their control. True freedom is the complete opposite. It's being the master of your own choices. And that is the kind of freedom that real discipline buys you. Now, this idea isn't just some modern, feel-good, self-help thing. To really get the stakes here, we've got to go back in time and look at this through the eyes of someone like Machiavelli. See, for a guy like Machiavelli living in a pretty chaotic and brutal world, discipline wasn't about self-improvement. It was about survival. A nice to have? No. It was a condition for existence. An undisciplined person, or an undisciplined army, or even an undisciplined country was going to get crushed by someone who was more organized. End of story. And this is such a perfect way to visualize it. Think of your mind as a Roman army. The Romans didn't conquer the known world because they were the strongest or the biggest. Nope. They did it with unbreakable, ironclad discipline. Every single soldier knew their mission. They knew their specific role, and they executed flawlessly without hesitation. Now, compare that to an undisciplined mind. What's that? It's a chaotic mob. It's going to scatter at the first sign of a real challenge. So, if there's one thing you need to get, it's this. Real discipline is structural. It has zero, and I mean zero, to do with how you feel. It doesn't care if you're motivated. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're bored. The only thing that matters is what you do. Action. That is the only metric. All right, so that's the what and the why. Now let's talk about the how. Let's get really practical here and break down 3 actual steps you can take to build this thing. But first, a really vital principle you have to understand. You don't build discipline when you're in the middle of a crisis. That's too late. You build it in peacetime. What does that mean? It means you forge it in all those small, boring, unseen moments of your daily life. It's when you choose to get up early when no one is watching. It's when you do the work when you could be relaxing. If you're waiting for some perfect moment to get started, you're just setting yourself up to fail. Okay, so here's the toolkit. Step 1, constant vigilance. You have to become a scientist of your own weaknesses. At the end of each day, just write down where you failed, where you gave in. Don't judge yourself, just observe the data. Step 2, eliminate choice. This is huge. Create a rigid schedule and just follow it. No internal debates. Don't ask yourself if you feel like doing it. The decision is already made. The more choices you remove, the less power your weaker self has. And finally, step 3, establish consequences. Make a real contract with yourself. If I fail to do this, then I must immediately do that. And the consequence has to be real, it has to be immediate. That's how you train your brain that giving in has a real cost. And please, remember this. Discipline isn't a destination. You don't just get there one day and then you can relax. It's not a finish line. It's a lifelong battle. It's a choice you have to actively make every single day, every single morning you open your eyes. So in the end, it all comes down to this. The battle for the life you want to live, it is fought and won inside your own mind. So the only real question left is, will you be its commander?